They charge you more than the lease said. John, I really wish I could help you with this issue. However, it appears that you do not live here, nor do we have any record of you visiting our office. Perhaps you confused us with someone else when you were leaving those 57 other 1-star reviews. Congrats on your level 7 local guide status. We can see how hard you worked to get there. Have a wonderful day. The Go Screw Yourself team. Welcome everybody, we're doing our Murdered by Words. That's what we're getting into today. Nothing like the proverbial know you of society, except a lot more savage. So let's jump into it.
I give Bill Drive-In a 1, 'cause they suck.
You know, you have a problem. We had a tech problem caused by a faulty drive from Disney. Over 150 people here that night understood. I mailed you a refund you claimed you never got. I offered to let you come get your money back in cash. You refused to come get it. You are just a person that cannot be pleased and loves drama. I see you're a single mother of 2. I can see why you are single. What confuses me is how it happened twice.
Ooh! Aha! Some water for that burn, please!
Oh, let me get this straight. This person is complaining just to complain. I deal with these people quite often since I'm in the fast food industry. I deal with these individuals often where they are just literally bitching to bitch. And we get those a lot. And in this particular case, the company literally bent over backwards and it still wasn't good enough for them. And honestly, you can only help the helpless so much until you can just feel that they're just living for the drama. And that's where the company saw. They saw right through the little mirage that this person put out and said, screw you, we understand. But I love the little extra added cherry on top where they insult the person's inability to hold on to a husband. Hey, Jesus, kid, don't break your arm trying to jerk yourself off as you pawn off your first novel experience as advice. Finish a few more before you start trying to dole out nuggets of wisdom there, Stephen King. I've got a dozen underneath my belt and you don't see me trying to play the role of literary Dear Abby. Really now? Well, this was written 4 years ago, and I actually was more of a kid back then and on my first book. Are you actually, after being so busy being awesome, experienced writer with a dozen underneath your belt, talking down on me about sharing something that was most definitely needed to read back then? There are thousands of aspiring, and yes, even kid writers here who would love to take a break from struggling with a block by reading some thoughts on someone who started just like them. It doesn't even have to be the rambling blog post. They can look elsewhere, but are you suggesting that no one should share their thoughts on writing their first novel? Kudos for modesty, friend, for not trying to be a literary Dear Abby, but I'd suggest you continue your noble work and leave us kids to try to motivate each other from time to time. Just as an FYI though, I'm currently writing my third, which I already sold to a publisher, and this first one you so determinedly tried to belittle as work is traditionally published, currently being translated to 2 more languages, so is my second. Finally, I sincerely hope your dozen is successful and published, and that you are already reaping all the emotional and material rewards from it, or will be in the future.
Murdered by words!
Love the little extra someone threw at the bottom. You always need your extra person just to add that extra insult to injury. This guy is probably one of the worst type of people. I don't like these type of people that this guy is, because this is what got me into helping individuals on YouTube, was people like that who discouraged other people from helping each other. It's a community, no matter what type of community you're in this particular situation. It's a literary community. In ours, it's the YouTube community. But what gets me is when I see this, like, that guy deserved every single bit of retort that the other one gave. And within 3 books, I mean, getting published is not bad on every book. That's a pretty good track record. Some people don't get their books published at all. Don't worry, guys, I don't have a book. I don't have the patience to write one. So there's that. Yeah. I'm lazy.
Lady on the end probably couldn't actually wear his seatbelt. She just seems too fat.
Adipose tissue is elastic, and unusual seatbelts support humans of any shape. Adipose amigo. Is that the excuse when you don't wear a seatbelt?
Ooh, damn.
No, I wouldn't wear one because the lap strap would get in the way of your mom's mouth all other times I wear my seatbelt.
You're a comedian? Please stick to crying about the Cowboys. It's better that way.
I'm a comedian. That's my job. I have thoughts outside my job, just like you have thoughts outside of showing your cleavage on Facebook. Imagine if I went to your page and just said, Carissa, enough of your opinions and concerns. Let's see some more of them titties. It's better that way. Your cleavage shots are what gets you the most likes, just like my Cowboys videos get me the most likes. But I think I'm entitled to use my own page however I want to. That's how freedom works. Bitch. The one thing you should never do is sling insults at a comedian. They carry around a bag of retorts that aren't ones you want to hear. I love how this guy took the high road. By high road, I mean he didn't give a crap. He said, listen, I have opinions. I'm allowed to have them, as you are too. But if we want to play your game, stick to titty porn. Hey, if you want my advice on that,
Yeah, we're talking politics. You're a YouTuber. Stay in your lane.
oh, well, okay, I'll just be over here playing video games then. Might need a Scott Frosty to ice down that beating Nebraska is taking. Hashtag fresh fan reaction. Not smart at Wendy's. Nebraska fans eat fast food too. Pretty sure they also know how to take a joke. Jokes are funny. This is not. Maybe we should start selling pacifiers too.
Hold on. Wendy's coming in hot.
What isn't a murdered by words category without Wendy's popping up at some point in time? You need to have Wendy's there. Wendy's is just, I don't know who they got that is in charge of their Twitter, but they are the sassiest person, period. And I love it. I love how sassy Wendy's can get. Their sass level's at a 10. I want it to stay there forever. I contacted about a lost order, but I didn't get a response.
Objection!
You mailed us at 10:23 a.m. on Thursday the 20th, asking why your order from Friday the 14th had been shipped. We emailed back at 1:45 on Thursday, 3 hours and 22 minutes after you contacted us, explaining that your order from Friday the 17th had been processed over the weekend and shipped on Monday, and provided a tracking link. If there's anything else we can help you with, either emails or write down your inquiry and throw it in the trash. I can't stand a thick accent. Had to study everything myself. I actually hate tutorials made by Indians. Don't know if it's a joke, but yeah. My fellow Americans, could it be, now this is just a hypothesis, so don't get worked up, that Indians are making tutorials primarily for their fellow 1.5 billion Indians, and not only for the 350 million Americans, which only a few thousands are on this subreddit, and that they can understand each other just fine? Could it be that you're self-centered and I think every video on YouTube will be in perfect English with MIT level teachers and the best hardware, the resources for you lazy American college students who couldn't figure shit out on their own? And you take it out on the brown guy who learned how just fine, is confident enough to teach it on YouTube, but might not speak the best English? You arrogant Western fuck! I've tried doing these tutorials a lot, and I do listen to a lot of them, and in a lot of cases, they got great insight. Because a person has a thick accent doesn't necessarily mean the tutorial's bad. Watch, that's why it's a visual media. You gotta utilize the visual media. Not all the time you're gonna understand what they're saying, but visually you can definitely pick up on what they're trying to do. Understand that not everybody speaks the same language. I know in a world of like billions and billions of people, we tend to think and fall back on we all speak one language. It doesn't work that way. And on top of that, that guy did have a point. There's like 300 million people in the US and 1 billion people in India. So who do you think the video was actually for? Get over yourself. Something tells me that he neither created this nor put the cereal in the bowl. Every bit he can do it for himself. It's so important, not only for his self-esteem, but for his caregiver as well. What's the point of his life, though? I don't know you, and he seemed to be doing pretty good. He's physically disabled and figured out how to eat. You're mentally disabled and you managed to type some words. So, you're wondering what's the point of him living? Just ask the douche in the mirror. My guess is the answer will be the same. Oh, shit! This looks like comments on a video of an individual who might have done something for himself as a physically or mentally disabled individual. And this person's commenting on it saying, oh, it's staged, it's fake, this guy, there's no way this guy can help himself. I have friends who've worked in environments that involve these types of individuals, and it is definitely something that they love to do. They love to achieve something on their own. That independence is what they strive for. You don't think they want someone caring for them for their entire life? No, they would love to be able to do it themselves. So when one is able to finally pour himself a bowl of cereal, that's an accomplishment, you douchebag.
Hi all. I have your final exam grades. Guys, I really wanted to believe that Virginia Western was not the cesspool of morons that all my fellow biology faculty told me it would be. Unfortunately, your finals, which I made purposely as easy as humanly possible, tanked harder than a Kardashian marriage. I personally apologize for expecting the bare minimum from you as students. If you look at your gradebook, you will notice that you have all gotten a 50-point grade bump as extra credit. And no, this was not because any of you deserved it, but it was in fact so I don't get my ass fired for when the dean asked me, hey, why the fuck did 90% of your class fail an introductory to biology class? To whom I will reply, I don't know. Maybe it's because these Klingons are 18 years old and still giggle every time I say phagocytus. I'd like to add, in fact, one of you got a 5 out of 100 on the exam, for which I salute you considering it was a 100% multiple choice. And the statistical probability of you missing more than 90% guessing is actually higher than your chances of getting laid, which for this particular student would be an actual act of God. Please stay out of the gene pool. You know who you are. I could have actually taken a shit on Scantron, wiped it off on the grass, and I am pretty certain my feces would have picked up more correct answers than you deliberately bubbled in. So congratulations on making me lose faith in the public school system and in humanity.
This teacher is at his wit's end. He just could not handle this. I can't imagine spending all that time throughout an entire year teaching individuals basic biology and having them not learn a thing. There comes a point in time where you can't blame yourself. A lot of people want to blame the teacher, and in a lot of cases, it's not the teacher's fault. The teacher did everything they could. It's the classroom, it's the individuals that are in the class, because we're getting to a point in time in life where people are becoming more lazy. They don't want to help themselves, and they don't want to learn anything new. And unfortunately, this teacher got the brunt end of this, and he lost it. And you know what? The funny part is, he reminds me of the teacher from AP Bio, the TV series. By the way, awesome series. Go watch it. Hysterical. That's another teacher who just could give a crap.
Worst walking tour ever. I had the misfortune to be saddled with Leafy for a walking tour around Melbourne. Normally, I really enjoy walking tours as the guides are mines of information. Sadly, it became obvious that Leafy knew nothing about Australian history or the history of Melbourne beyond the date of settlement in Australia. He embarked on a fluff and fantasy account of people like Ned Kelly trying to paint him as an Australian Robin Hood, who freed honest people from the tyranny of banks. We learnt about drop bears and an awful lot about Leafy and what he liked, but little about what Melbourne had to offer. On a number of occasions, he pointed out a very negative and one-sided viewpoint about Australian institutions and the treatment of Aborigines. It was very political and very biased, and left all the foreign visitors with a very poor opinion of Australia. This is not someone in the tourist industry tasked with promoting their country should be doing. This attitude was highlighted by another participant on the tour, and Leafy reacted very badly towards her. If you want to learn something of value about Melbourne, choose another tour company. We are sorry you felt like you had a poor experience on our tour. Whilst we appreciate guest feedback about our tours, I think it's important to explain the full context so as to properly convey the full situation. At the end of the tour, your traveling partner, not a participant independent of you, came up to Leafy and loudly proclaimed that her tip would have been more, except how he had covered Melbourne's Aboriginal history. The rest, she said, was great. We acknowledge that we can't completely cover the complexity of Aboriginal and British interaction through our shared history. However, we strongly disagree with your traveling companion's views around Indigenous history that we need to cover how the black savages are alcoholics and just rape women. Further, we feel that the method of raising the concern was particularly inappropriate. We cover a general overview of our history in the first hour of the tour, and yet you both raised it right at the end, when you felt like you had the best audience. Even as Leafy tried to defuse the situation and offer those on tour that they should visit the award-winning Bunjalaki Aboriginal Cultural Center for the independent opinion, your traveling partner felt the need to say they'll just be fed the same shit there. We are always concerned with the quality of the tours and making sure whenever possible we provide the full story. That is exactly why we feel Leafy has done here. As someone with personal experience working with the Aboriginal Legal Center in Alice Springs, Leafy understands Australia's shared history better than most non-Indigenous people, and we are very lucky to have a guide who is able to share that with visitors. We do understand that people have different opinions, but we will always stand by our guides when exposed to a verbally abusive guest. Thankfully, many of the remaining guests were quick to apologize to Leafy that he had experienced such abuse. We look forward to having Leafy and our other guides show more people our great city and its full history. You cunt.
What's interesting, this is another person complaining just to complain. And these guys, actually, it's not too much of a murdered by word, but these guys actually came out, said what they had to say, put the person in their place, and stood by their employee. Not too many employers are willing to stand by their employees. This company took the time to stand by their employee, and I love that because they know he taught everything he could, and they know the individuals that were talking down to him were ignorant little assholes. I'm glad they pointed it out. They put it out there. And I love the fact they took their time to write this because you can clearly see that in the wording that they chose. I love it. It's great. It's the perfect way of saying go screw yourself without saying go screw yourself. It's a polite fuck you. And I live for those. Those are actually that's one of my fountains of youth. That is how I retain this youthful complexion, because obviously I don't look like a man in his 30s. I look like a person who's 21. I hope you guys enjoy this. I really have fun making these. I have so much fun making these. I do have a Discord. I recommend you guys check it out in the link below. I would love to see your faces there. But I thank you guys very much for watching. And I thank you very much for following along. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon because it definitely helps people understand that I'm actually uploading something at some point in time. And don't forget to hit the like button because I love you and you love the video, right? Right? That happened? So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you very much for following along. And as usual, as always, my friends, stay frosty and keep moving forward.